I'm your girl, Cookie. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cookie Effect channel. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing great. If you're a new subscriber, how you doing? Welcome. Pull up a seat, join us. Welcome to the family. And if you are already a member of the Cookie crew, how you doing? How are you guys? Hope you guys are doing great. I'm so happy to be here today. Happy new month. It's the month of June. Hasn't this freaking year just gone by so quickly? Like, all of a sudden, it's June. I can still remember January, So, happy new month. I hope you guys are doing great. So, on today's episode, it's a new month, and I just figured, let's try and uplift, motivate, and encourage each other. Because, sometimes getting into a new month, if you had a bad month previously, if, you feel deflated with life, you feel deflated with, your endeavors and things like that, don't worry about it. It's all going to be A-okay. All right. So on today's episode, I really want to uplift us and talk to us about consistency. Consistency in your life, consistency in all aspects of our lives, and how that word consistency matters to our lives. How many times do you ever think of that word, consistency? Do you ever think, how does being consistent apply to my everyday life? Now, this is what I want to share with you. So sit tight, relax, and let's get into the show. Don't forget, subscribe down below if you haven't already done so. And press the notification bell just so that when I upload a new video, you are the first to get it. All right, guys, now let's get into it. All right, so consistency. What is consistency? How often do we use it in our lives? How does it affect our lives? Okay, so consistency, I don't want to give you the Google version, but we all know as adults, we all know what being consistent is, okay? Being consistent is when you do something repetitively over and over so that you can achieve or get to a goal or get to the end or get to, wherever you want to, you're trying to get to. So being consistent is, if someone says to you, you're a very consistent person, it means you're quite reliable. You could be consistent in being late for work every day. You could be consistent in that way. Or you could be consistent in always turning up for work early and on time. Or be consistent in producing good work. Or you could be consistent in absolutely producing shitty work. Okay, so there's different levels to consistency, but I just wanted us to look at it in a positive light. Okay, so there are 3 parts I want to talk to us about. Okay, consistency when it applies to being parents, because I'm a parent, and consistency when it applies in your relationship, because at our age, each one of you probably listening to me right now are married, have relationships with people, have girlfriends, boyfriends, fiancés, because we are the grown and sexy. So we talk about grown and sexy stuff. But how it applies to our relationship, and also consistency in our daily life and goals and dreams. Okay, so let's get into it. So now the first one I want to talk about is consistency as a parent. Okay, we all know being a parent is the hardest job in the world. It's the most, there's no handbook for being a parent. God, I'm sweating. There's no handbook for being a parent. You find yourself having one moment of hot, passionate sex. The next thing you know, you're pregnant, and then 9 months later, you have this human being that you have to be that you have to take care of, that depends on you, and all of that stuff. And how do you, when I had my first child, I didn't know about raising kids. I was never around little kids. So it was a shock to my system. And trust and believe, I made a lot of mistakes. I did things a little different. And trust me, oh my goodness, having your first child is hell. So, consistency with being parents. Are you a parent that always sits around thinking, why don't my kids listen to me? Why can't my kids be like such and such kid who goes to bed on time, who does what they're told, who is not a problem at all? Why do I have so much issues with my child? Why is my child just not conforming? When I tell them don't touch something, they touch it. When I tell them it's bedtime, they don't care. They still stay up. When I say go to your room, they don't care. They still come downstairs. I mean, they just don't listen to me. Okay, woosah. Okay, so I'm not an expert, but I'm a parent of 3. And, their ages range from 16, 10, and 4. So, for me, I feel like being consistent has helped me throughout being a parent. Like I was also a single mom. So, I've lived that life. And being consistent was my only saving grace. I learned that pretty quickly. Okay. So for instance, if you have children who don't listen to you, maybe you're not being very consistent in how you discipline them. Maybe you're not being very consistent in the things that you're telling them to do. For instance, if you're trying to get your kids to go to sleep at a certain time, every day, you want them to go to sleep, say at 7 or 8 or whatever you choose. All right. Now, to begin with, you're going to have a discussion with the kids, set the plan of action, let them know, okay, bedtime's going to be at 7:30. 6 o'clock is dinner time, no matter what, okay? We're not eating anytime after 6. 6:30, dinner time, all right? Now, 7 o'clock, we have to now start going to shower and get ready for bed, all right? 7:30, go in your room and stay there. That's how it's going to go down. You break it to them and, you're good to go. Now, the most important part of this, parents, is your kids are going to test you. They're going to be like, oh, excuse me. What are you talking about? Who you telling? You've never done this before. Why are you trying to tell us what to do? No, we're not going to bed. Nah, you're just kidding. Because they're so used to you not sticking to your word. They're so used to you not being consistent. They're so used to not having any rules or set bedtime. So to them, it's like kids hate things that are really new. If you try to implement something new in their lives, they freak out. But that doesn't mean you should give up. That just means you have to ease them through it. You have to encourage them, and you have to remain firm and consistent. Absolutely. So the first day, you might put them to bed at 7:30 and everything. Next thing you know, they start getting out of bed. They start, like just not wanting to go to bed. It can get overwhelming. It can get really stressful. You want to pull your hair out. They're coming out one at a time. If you have more than one kid, it's hell. I get it. But listen, mamas, you guys need to just chill out and send their asses back to their bedroom. Remain consistent. Do not give up, okay? Remain firm. Don't let them win. Remember, you're the parent and they're the child. They have to listen to you regardless, okay? So, make sure they're in there. Keep putting them back in and all of that stuff. Once that's done and they finally go to sleep, now the most important part of being consistent and getting that result that you want is the next day you have to do it all over again. exactly the same way. Don't tell me about, oh, we were out and, we were running late. I forgot we didn't get home till 9 o'clock at night. And, they missed their bedtime curfew. No, no, no. Remember, if you want consistency, you must make it a priority, no matter what. In order for this to work, you have to make it a priority. Absolutely. So, trust me, I had to do this. I did this for years and years, and I still do that to this day. Look, I lost out on going out, hanging out with friends, going to certain parties, going to certain events, staying out, missing out on certain things because I had to rush home before 7 o'clock. I had to rush home before 7, and they had to eat dinner at 6 or 6:30. It didn't matter where we were. But ultimately, I had to get home so they could go to bed at 7:30, period. Especially during the school season, the school term, the school year. Absolutely. I did that from they were like 2 years old. I set them goals and I'm consistent in my rules. I'm a Capricorn. So, some people say we're bossy. Some people say we're kind of controlling, but I don't believe that. I just think we just like things done a certain way and we stick to our guns. That's it. So being consistent comes easy for me. But I'm talking to those who are not very easily like firm, and you're weak. When your kids come to you, you just break and give them what they want and ruin their lives. No. Or if your kid is a bad kid and always being bad, never listens, you have to be consistent in your rules. You have to be consistent. If the rules are no stealing, no lying, no playing, no horseplay, no playing rough, no running, no whatever case may be, whatever it is, depending on your child and their issues, okay? Set your rules and stick to it. So the next time they break that rule, then you got to discipline them. No matter how tired you are, no matter how, it's not the right time, no matter how, whatever is going on, if they break that rule, you have to nip it in the bud. You have to do something about it. You have to acknowledge that and let them know that you've broken a rule. You've done something you're not supposed to do. So these are the consequences. Because if you don't give kids, if you're not consistent with your discipline and your rules and what in your expectations of children, they're going to be like this all over the place. They're going to be so all over the place, and they're going to start acting cuckoo crazy. I find that with kids, if you set them a rule or a path, a direction, if you set a clear direction, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, this is what you're not doing, this is what you're doing, they're easily able to kind of maneuver through that. Okay. But if, one day you're yelling at them, or you're disciplining, putting them on timeout, or you're disciplining them, taking their phones, taking their stuff, when they did something wrong, and then a month later, they do the same thing wrong and nothing happens to them. They don't get spoken to. They don't get disciplined. But what do you think you're telling those kids? You're telling them, yo, she doesn't care. Oh, if I can get away with doing this when she's occupied doing that. And so they start doing things when you're occupied doing that. But if they know you're a very firm and consistent parent, they're going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter about my mom. My mom could be hanging out with her friends next door. And as soon as she finds out that I've done something wrong, she's leaving that party. She's coming home and she's going to deal with me. That's it, period. So we have to remain consistent. That's why things ain't working out. That's why things seem a bit all over the place, because some of us find it really hard to be consistent. And I understand it because life is so busy. Life is so stressful. Life is like up and down and crazy. And it's hard sometimes to actually be consistent with your life when you're trying to juggle kids, work, life, friends, family, boyfriends, relationship, all kinds of things. But ultimately, if you want something, you have to work hard at it. You have to be consistent to get the right result. All right, so let's move on to consistency in a relationship. Are you in a relationship where all of a sudden things used to be really, really good? Y'all used to hang out, have fun. It was a great time. You guys used to have mad sex. You guys used to just have a great time. Like, you guys were friends. You guys used to watch TV together. Y'all used to go out a lot, dinners, dates, and all that kind of stuff. You used to like text her all the time or call her all the time, or vice versa, excuse me. And then all of a sudden, it's like 6 months into the relationship, or a year or 2 years into the relationship, and things start fizzling out. Now, I understand things fizzle out. The longer you are in a relationship, we kind of get complacent. We kind of sit back and almost start not appreciating what we had. But I'm here to tell you, a part of the big problem I've realized growing up and being this age and being in relationships and going through a lot of things, I've come to realize that to be in a healthy relationship that works, we all have to be consistent. Me and him. We all have to make our relationship priority. So what I mean by being consistent in your relationship is, if you guys enjoy going on date nights, or you enjoy like watching shows together, or you enjoy doing something together, having sex, I don't know, stuff like that. Listen, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the relationship. You have to be consistent. You have to keep that fire burning. You have to set a plan, set a date, and say, no matter what happens, we are always going to have date night once a month. No matter what comes up, no matter what happens. And yes, I know what you're saying, Cooks. Oh yeah, Cooks, life is not that simple. You can't always do things on the same day, what I'm saying? I get it. But what I'm saying is, yes, life comes up and things happen that, someone might be sick and you're not able to do that. But what I'm saying is, if that's the case, be consistent enough to say, you know what, let's do a rain check, but make sure that you follow through. Make sure that you make it up to them. Make sure that that date night for that month somehow gets done, okay? Make sure, if you're a person that used to send her lovely text messages, or you used to send him, lovely text messages throughout the course of the day and things like that, you have to be consistent and continue to do those things. You might not do it as regularly as the relationship goes on, obviously, when you have kids and things like that, but just always have it in the back of your head that you must be consistent in order to make your relationship work, in order for you and your partner to see eye to eye, in order for you both to feel that each other is important. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of the times relationships break up is because somebody or both people are feeling unappreciated, not feeling appreciated. They feel like they've been forgotten. They feel like they're taken for granted. Okay? And that starts to pick at you and hurt your self-esteem and breaks you down. And then before you know it, people are either cheating, or there's a breakup, or you know what I mean? It just gets bad. So what I'm saying is, this word consistency is a really big, major word. And I want you guys to just start thinking about this word consistency, because you can apply it to every aspect of your life. And I guarantee you that you will see some results. You will see good things happening. You will see a little change in the pattern of behavior, or you will see a change in the thing that you're striving for, being consistent. Let's talk about for ourselves, our well-being and our own motivation, okay? Consistency plays a huge role in that as well, okay? Consistency, if say for instance, if your goal is to lose weight, if your goal is to start a business, if your goal is to do this or do that or do whatever, go to school and graduate, if you're a teenager or you're studying at university and stuff, if that's your goal, to have a degree and things like that, consistency does play a huge part in that, guys. Consistency plays a huge part in that, because trust me, if it's one thing dreaming and one thing having goals, that's the easy part. But actually putting your head down and focus and motivation to actually achieve this goal through thick or thin, that's the hardest part. The dreaming about stuff is easy. We could all sit here and daydream about what we want to be, how, what we want to have and all this kind of stuff. But putting in the work is where we all fall short. So I feel like if you have any goals, any dreams, anything that you are striving for, please try to remember this word, consistency. You must be consistent. If you're trying to lose weight and the goal is to lose weight, and the things you need to do to lose weight is go to the gym, eat healthy, work on those things, and go to the gym every day and follow the whatever diet or whatever exercise program that you're on, then you have to be consistent with it. You have to keep at it. Yes, the going is definitely going to get tough. It's absolutely going to get tough. You're going to get to a point you're going to feel like, you know what, this is not working out. I'm not losing any weight. I still feel as shitty as I felt when I first started this 3 weeks ago. Nothing is working. Sis, listen, it's going to work. Just keep going. Just keep going. Let me tell you about me, okay? So, I'm a mom. I enjoy doing this, and I started my podcast, like maybe a year ago now, and I started that podcast just because I was, missing home. I'm from England. I'm living in the States now. I was missing home, and I thought, this would be a good way to like express myself and share my adventures with people back home. And so, I was a little depressed, a little down and everything like that, out of my comfort zone. So I decided to start the podcast because I love everything media. I love everything hosting, talking, everything. So I said, you know what, let me do it. I started doing it and it was okay. I got the hang of it a little bit, but I was really, really I was really raw, really not professional. I was all over the place, but I was doing something and it made me feel good. But after a while, I saw that I started getting listeners and it was going up and it was going up. But then after a while, I realized the listeners started going down. People weren't really sharing my stuff. People weren't really listening. I wasn't really getting any feedback from people, so I was just like, it deflated me, guys. That hurt me. It broke me. I was like really sad. And then on top of that, I was going through some personal issues, and so on top of that, I was really feeling real shitty about myself. I wasn't feeling positive. I said, to hell with this. I don't feel good about myself. I don't look good. I don't like who I see in the mirror. Like, I'm like, this is not it. So what happened was I felt so negative and so angry and so like demotivated, like just unmotivated, no focus, no drive to do anything. I really did. I really, really did, guys. And then January, shout out to the Capricorns, that's my birthday. So January came, I had a birthday, and I realized, you know what? Nah. I looked in the mirror and I said to myself, Cookie, you gotta fight. You gotta fight for your happiness. You gotta go and pursue your dreams. You gotta push yourself. You gotta be focused. You've gotta do it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I had to tell myself that. And I prayed to God over and over, just asking him to help me. And so I set a goal on New Year's Day. I said to myself, from New Year's Day, January 1st, 2029, I am going to consistently record a podcast 3 days a week, no matter what. I am going to record a podcast Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, no matter what happens. And guys, let me tell you, that might seem like nothing to you guys, but trust me, that was the hardest thing because I wasn't motivated. I was depressed. I didn't know if I could actually push myself to talk for however long to people and be happy and be positive when I wasn't feeling it on the inside. I had to really, really dig deep. I had to dig deep. But one thing I knew, I really had to maintain the 3 days a week. I didn't care what the topic was, okay? I didn't care what the topic was. All I cared about was I'm going to hit 3 days a week no matter what. 3 days a week, I am going to be recording a podcast no matter what. And guys, my life changed. My life changed and it's still changing and I'm still growing. And look at me now. I'm on YouTube, guys. I'm on YouTube. Like, I never had the confidence to do this. I never thought I could ever. I am so not into technology. I am so not good at this stuff. I've had to learn. I find myself learning how to edit, learning how to do stuff. That's why you might see my channel. It's still in the work in progress because I'm growing and I would love you guys to watch me grow. I want you guys that are just joining me now on this ride to see the growth in me. And if I can grow every single episode, even just a little bit, then I feel great that I'm doing a good job. If I remain consistent in posting videos at least twice a week, I feel great that I'm being consistent. So guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I just wanted you guys to know that, it is okay to feel demotivated. It is okay to be unfocused, deflated, feel like giving up, but don't give up, okay? Do not give up. Remain consistent. Remember this word in anything that you're doing, whether a student, whether a worker, whether a parent, whether a business owner. As long as you're consistent, something good is going to come out of it, no matter what. Something good is going to come out of it. People will start taking you seriously. People will start appreciating your hard work. Your work will improve. Just know, like, if you're a kid and remember when you were a kid and you couldn't ride a bike, how did you become to ride a bike? By being consistent, practicing over and over consistently. If you don't know how to cook and you get a cookbook and you keep practicing this one meal or this one menu that you're trying to do, if you keep practicing, you keep remaining consistent, you will finally make that meal. You will finally be successful. You will. And I'm still growing on this YouTube thing, and I thank you guys so much for supporting me, for subscribing, because without you, I wouldn't have the motivation and the drive to do this. So the more you guys subscribe, the more I feel like, yes, I'm going to do this. I can do this. And these people are supporting me doing this. So I'm going to continue practicing consistency in every aspect of my life. I've learned that the hard way, but I've learned that. And I know moving on in anything I do with my life from this point on, I'm going to always be consistent no matter what. Even in a relationship, I am going to start being consistent. So, when that time comes, I know for a fact I am going to be a different person with a different mindset because we all need consistency. So guys, on that note, that's it for this week's episode of the Cookie Effect show. All right. So if you want to chime in any of our conversations, Please don't forget, leave comments down below. I really would love to communicate with you guys. If you want to leave shout outs, if you want to ask me any questions, if you have topics you would like me to discuss, please leave it down below in the comment section, and I promise you guys I will get back to you. Okay? Now guys, have a great week. Okay? Try and use consistency in your week and everything you do, and see what happens. All right? If you're a new subscriber, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe down below and join the Cookie Effect family. We are the Cookie Crew after all. All right, guys, I love you guys, and that's it. I'm your girl, Cookie, Miss Capricorn.